set, go.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Casual Caffeinated Conversations. I'm super excited because I have two guests here today. I have Ethan and Amy. Hello. Thank you so much for joining me.
Hey.
We're just
awesome to be here.
We're just going to talk today. We won't do the standard questions. We're just going to shoot it, and we're going to talk about the mental health event, talk about why mental health is important and why we need to keep this conversation going. So to both of you, why is mental health important?
Ooh, you know, I think that let me rephrase this. I know that mental health is important for a multitude of reasons. You know, we get into this idea that it's separate from the rest of self. And, you know, mental health directly affects how we physically operate. It affects how we engage with people socially. You know, if mental health doesn't actually matter, why is it always the pinnacle of things that affect us physically healthy, mentally healthy, and spiritually healthy? Like the three things actually work together. So mental health is important because it's a piece of the trifecta. If that's out, the other two are out. You can't complete the thing without it.
Yeah. Perfect. Amy?
I like that. It's totally a balance thing. And you said it best. And I think when we think about mental health, we need to realize that everybody has a story. Mm-hmm. And we all have kind of like these filters in which we do life based off what we were told, what we learned, what we experienced, and what we believe to be true from that. And that really does affect our mental health, but it also affects our emotional and spiritual and our physical. And it's all intertwined. And I love how Ethan said that you know, it's all together and you can't have one without the other.
Hmm.
Now everybody does have a story. Do you think it's important that everybody tells their story?
Yes and no.
Yeah, I was going to say that too.
I say yes because there's a social contract in suffering that we miss as human beings. And, you know, we talk about it a lot, Krista, about how, you know, community is the overall winner in mental health. You know, yeah. It takes people out of isolation. So in that, if 17 people show up to this thing and only 15 share, at some point, those two are going to be ostracized either by themselves or by the group because they're not safe. You know, it comes with earning safety, earning trust, or, you know, those things. I would say absolutely yes. But does everybody have to be somebody like me or somebody like Chris or somebody like Amy? I say no, because my story, and it's not a gloat, but it's something that people tell me, and I have to really kind of hammer home here. I'm a survivor of horrific childhood trauma. It wasn't a one-off. It wasn't a two-off like I keep hearing everybody else tell their stories about. Mine was 10 years of nightly, daily things. So like I have this unfortunate and incredible responsibility and ability to reach a myriad of different symptoms, a myriad of different problems. I will never know what it's like to be a domestic abuse survivor, yet I am one. See, and that's the thing, is that I'm a man. I'm a pretty big dude. There is nothing a woman can do to me that I can't defend myself from. Right? I will never be able to understand that, but I actually am a survivor of Stockholm syndrome. That's what got me through 10 years of suffering. So in fact, I know why women stay. I know why they can't leave. I know, and I understand it all on paper, but I can never tell someone that I know what you do know, but I can say, I'm a survivor of this. And I understand what it's like to allow your abuser back in. That gives me an ability to reach even more people. So in an effect, I have a loving group of people that I love hearing their stories from, because I know they see me and can actually understand me. Yeah. But there are lots of stories out there that I'm like, I'm really sorry for what you went through, but like, there's something else there. We got to deal with your soul happiness, your soul strength here, because if that's what took you out, you know, we need to dig deeper. There's something else going on. So in and of effect, yes and no. I think there's a time and a place for everybody to share. There's always space for it. But does everybody have to do it?
No.
I would say no.
And see, that's the thing. There is a space for it. Okay. And that's the part we're forgetting to teach now. So you hear all of the time, let's talk. Okay. Tell your story. Get up and share your story. You'll heal if you share your story. well, I'm so sorry, but not everybody is meant to stand up and tell their story.
Do you know where your
Some
sharing
people have
is?
a space.
Your journal.
Journaling. Yeah.
You can
And
share
or a
your story
friend.
here.
Yeah, or somewhere where you're safe, where
Mhm.
when we bring all these people together and we say, stand up and share your story and always be talking and always be doing this, there
Then
is
nobody's listening.
people, that's right. And there's people in the room who are like scared, you know, they don't want to be that vulnerable yet. They want to know that someone like you, Ethan, is there, or you, Amy, are there, so they can be like, that is the manual. Just like you say, Amy, we're writing the manuals so other people can make it through. So we have to hold back on, yeah, just get up and tell your story. No, go and talk to someone. Doesn't matter who, as long as you're safe and you're talking.
And you know what? It's really big because I remember reading Brene Brown after being widowed with 3 kids. And so I don't know if you know my story, Ethan, but my husband died of suicide. And so it was pretty impactful. And, you know, we kind of hid it. It was kind of a secret, like shame, you know, took over. And then all of a sudden we moved to a town. And all of a sudden I read Brene Brown and I was like, okay, you know what? We are going to tell the world. and damn, did I ever get stung. Like I got stung and I got stung hard. And then I closed off. And then I was like, oh no, be damned if anybody deserves my story. And I didn't realize that with sharing our vulnerability and sharing our stories, that it needs to be, like you said, a safe space to do so. And when we share, and we'll share it in an area where it's not safe, we do end up getting stung and we get burned, and then we build up our walls, and then we isolate, and we go back and revert to like, okay, the shame and the guilt and the embarrassment of everything. And so do I think that people need to share their stories? Yeah, like I said, yes and no. I think there's a time and a place. But I also believe that there is healing with sharing our story, but we have to be careful how we share it, because I also know that it can be, some people hate the word triggering, but it can. Our stories can be, they can be triggering. They can bring up emotions and feelings. And when we tell it in a way that we're maybe not so sensitive, we gotta be careful, because there's a way of sharing and oversharing. And so there's a lot of lines in it. There's a lot of gray areas with sharing a story.
Brene does say it. She's like, I've made the mistake of being like, I'm going to do this thing. And then she looks up from 5 minutes of talking and she's like, I have miscalculated this thing. It's this, but it's, you know, and it's funny because we think that we know that there's someone out there that needs to hear this story, and that's great. But there's a difference between sharing your story and telling your story. Yeah. And like we as survivors of things like massive traumas, you know, we get good at picking out the necessities of the two. And unfortunately, it's a lot of trial by fire. You know, for me, I got really lucky in, you know, it's such a funny, I look back on it and I always change the word I use. But, you know, I got started, I don't know if you know my story, I got started in this 5 years ago now, whatever it is, 2018, end of 2018, whatever, math. I got overcome by my depression, and just, I didn't want to live. I didn't know how to be a dad. Of course, I didn't know how to be a dad. Like, I really didn't. I didn't know how to be a good partner. I knew protecting, and that's it. And, you know, my protecting was always toxic, and I just wanted to die. And I was like, that's it. I'm done. You know, this thing in me said, share a piece of your story. And I said, no, I'm good. I'm going to die. Thank you. And then I was almost forced by the universe to write it. Like I started shaking and I couldn't figure it. It was just write, just on in my whole being. So I wrote down a piece of my story, and then the same feeling came with it saying, okay, now you have to share that. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I can't do that. Nobody wants to hear this shit. It's proven to me over the last 28 years of my life that nobody gives a fuck about me or what happened to me. So why would I share it? And then all of a sudden this sick thought came into my mind. I was like, well, but then it's 1 for 1, because if someone sees my story and stays, I can soul exchange and go, you fucking made it make sense to me. Here you go, share it and have it. And I turned my phone off for 3 days, thinking if I just get to that day, I don't even have to know if people hate me. But it wasn't what happened. It became the pinnacle of where I am today. Because every time I thought I wanted to die, sharing my story reached exactly who it needed to reach and kept me here so I could keep sharing my story. Now I get to tell my story. You know, now I get to tell people how I got to here. Now I get to tell people how I survived still to this day. You know, now I get to tell. Sharing came with a lot of practice. Now, as a quote unquote public figure, or someone people turn to, I now get to tell my story. I get to stand up there and tell it over and over and over again until change happens. And I think that's kind of the big difference is early on when you're like, who do I tell? Like, no, you got to share, because sharing opens up that vulnerable space, opens up the ability to receive somebody caring about your sharing.
Yeah,
and
I like
that's
that.
like the thing. There's different, because here I can tell people anything. I can tell people, I don't fucking care what you think. Why? Because this happened to me. The people that know my story know it happened to me and love that I get to sit here and tell you, this is what happens. This is life for us. Now you can't hurt me with not caring about what I'm sharing, because it fucking isn't for you.
That's right.
It's for who needs it.
That's right.
And that's so good.
That's the other thing is people, you can listen to anybody's story. It doesn't mean it's for you.
Yeah.
I'm not for everybody.
Right?
Like
it goes both ways,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you're right. You're not for everybody. I'm not for everybody. Like this is about, let's make some change in today's society so that everybody can be okay. And so that everybody knows that somebody out there cares, so that they can share their story, because this is where we need to be. So people aren't hiding, so people don't feel like they have to take their own lives, so people come and reach for help, so people don't jump into addiction. How do we keep this going? Because we want people to be okay, and we need to take action. So people like Ethan stand up and say, it's okay to be not okay. Like that's what we need more of. We need more of everything. But for some reason, we're still so scared of mental illness. And I think it's because we don't understand it. But I'm like, I don't understand cancer, but we still talk about cancer. Why can't we talk about mental illness just like anything else? Hey, I broke my leg. Hey, that guy, my brain's broken today. Like,
yeah, that's the thing. The bit that shits me is look, I broke my arm. I'm in the hospital pictures. And yet when I posted that I just got put Form 1, everybody was like, oh God. I've posted that I've broken my neck. I've had fucking C-collars on me in pictures. Holy shit, I hope you're okay. I hope you're okay. Ethan disappeared for a week and then came back saying that he got Form 1, that everyone's like, like, where's the disconnect? The reason I got hurt was because I didn't care enough about my own well-being that I put myself in a fucked up position in the first place. But that story is more motivating than, actually, I wanted to die and really did try to take on the biggest 3 dudes in the bar and actually came out the winner, but they did get a lucky shot and it almost took my life from me, but nobody gives a fuck. Like that, that's the insanity of it.
The hard thing too is, what I find too is, my daughter has shared, and she does a lot of writing, and her writing is hard sometimes to read as a mom because of what she's gone through. But she shared how she had felt when we lived in different cities, because we've moved a lot, trying to get away from our story a little bit. But she shared as though she felt contagious. Kids treated her as if she was contagious, that their dads were now going to die next. It was the dumbest thing in the whole wide world.
But it's true, right? Because, and she's right on. I'm sorry, but completely right on. Because with mental illness, it's like, you say you're sad, or you're having a hard day, or you're depressed, or anything to that, people are like,
they treat it like you're contagious.
Like they have to step back, like, oh, why did I ask how you were today? Where do I go now? Like, what am I doing?
It's that, and it's like they don't know how to handle. Like their brain goes, what do I? How do I do? It's not like cancer where it's like, I don't actually get. Look, here's the bit that shits me, and we're gonna go on another rant. If I tell you I have cancer, and you go, oh, come here, you didn't fix anything. You didn't change shit for me. You made me feel better in the moment because you've seen what cancer's done to the world, and yet you fucking choose to ignore it when it's mental health. And all I needed was the same fucking response from you. Why is there a difference?
Because people are scared. They're just scared.
Of what?
The unknown. They have no idea, and they don't want to be sad. But the funny thing is everybody goes through things in their life, no matter what. You know, life is this big, whoa. So let's accept it. You're going to have some shitty days, and it's okay to say, I'm having that day right now, or I can't pick myself up off the floor. You know, and instead of going,
toxic thing in that.
Okay.
The toxic thing in that is that we still say the same thing from the other side.
Yep.
Like we can't let it just be. Like if I tell you I'm not okay, the same people that say, oh, well, it's okay not to be okay, are the same people that are like, everyone's not okay, so why don't you keep going? It's like, who? But
Okay, so let's talk about that. That's good.
by
Let's talk about
definition,
this.
what?
Yeah, so what do we do? So when someone says, oh, I'm not okay, and me and Amy have had this talk, I'm pretty sure you and me too, Ethan, we need to start learning to ask permission. Do you know what I mean? Like, what are we supposed to do when someone says, I'm not okay? To me, it should be, how can I help? Or do you want to talk about it?
I ask one question in two parts. I say, do you need space for me just to hear you, or do you need space to have a communication?
That's what I was going to say. Yeah. And I think, and this just came to me the other day when I was having a one-on-one with another person. And I realized that it's really hard sometimes for me I can ask somebody if they're okay, but sometimes I don't want to hear the answer because I'm scared of the answer. Because if I already know and I sense that they're not okay, and because I've lived, I'm a survivor of suicide from that sense, I'm scared sometimes to hear the answer, especially if there's somebody close to me, right? So for me, it's like, I want to ask and I do ask, but then I'm like, ooh, like, what do I do with this? And I love what you said, Ethan, because that is what I came to the realization. It is my job to ask, but then I have to say, okay, how would you like me to hold the space for you now? Am I listening? Am I bringing solutions? Am I trying to fix things? Like, what does it look like? What do you need from me? How do I be there for you in this way? And what does it look like?
And I would even like to further, not to shit talk, like leave your other side of equation part of it out of it. You know what it's like when someone comes in to fix you. Like, what, bitch, get out my fucking face. Like, please, I've been at this for 30 years. I'm not, if I can't do it, you sure as fuck aren't helping. Like, it's that thing, because when you hear, it's off-putting to some people at first, even especially because like a lot of my work is done. I tell people, like, if you like, I'm accessible to everybody right now. Message me if you need help, whatever that is. And as soon as I get the messages, hey, before I even respond to this, do you need just space to vent? Or are you hoping that I respond to you? Yeah. Because I can hold space for both. But in that, it means that I don't have to, I'm not coming in this as someone who is, I do this to them. When I say I'm holding space for either, I'm here. Because if I say, I know I have a solution, I stay here.
Yeah.
And what are we all used to? We're all used to people looking down at us. Even if it's wrong. That's the other thing. As mental health survivors, it's a lot of time is perception of people looking down on us. So we can't. Trauma is designed to not let us reason with that shit. So saying, what do you need today? It's like, well, look, I'm not the be all end all. I'm like, let's be real. I bat a solid average. I could probably help you. But in this moment, I just need you to know that I know you're a human. I know what struggle's like, and that's it. If all you need to do is send that to a safe space, I don't even have to fucking read it. If that made you feel better, we won the day.
Yeah, that's right. Yep. Holding space for people. Well, I'm so excited. I can't wait to have everybody in a room talking about this stuff.
But holding space and not hijacking it. That's big.
Yeah.
That's huge. Really big. And when it's people that are closest to us, we often
it's hard.
We hijack it. We truly do, because we have skin in the game when it's somebody close to us.
Yeah, the hardest part is like, I got
it. Yeah. How do we teach this though? How do we teach people to do this? Because you're right. We always give opinions or
anything. I have this thing where it's like anything that I can't read the entirety of in my initial notification, or if I click on it and see there's more than 5 lines, I know that I'm like, either I can't do this right now because I'm too all over the place. So I will give you a quick hack. And then realize that I've missed an emotional connection that needs to be there. I need to actually be able to hold space. I've come back 4 days later and been like, hey, I apologize. I know I offered space, but I ran out of it. And I have a bunch now that I want to dedicate to you if you still need it. But in that, it's this like, breathe before you do the helping. And we have to breathe as much before we invest in this as they have to breathe in sharing from their side. If it's this long, I know that it's going to take at least 20 minutes of my day. Do I have 20 minutes right now to be invested in this person? Do I have 20 minutes tonight? Yeah, probably. Now, how intense is it? I didn't see any sexual and physical. No, good. Oh, just a really bad day, bad week. Okay, cool. I can do that. I can have emotional investment, 50 minutes. I can block it in tonight. And then I would just tell them. hey, I want to help you and I want to be here for you right now. I have space, but it won't be till tonight. I got too much shit going on and I want to dedicate.
Yes.
And that's the thing. The connection comes from making sure they know that like, I want to be here, but I
You want
can't.
to give your best yes.
Yes.
You want to give your best yes.
And why can't people do
Huge.
that? Like, what is it?
Yeah.
Why don't we do that now? Like, we were just taught wrong. What's going on? Like, if someone comes to us and starts venting about their day or anything like that, we do have a hard time saying, whoa.
Because
there's
so many advocates saying you have to learn to fucking listen, that now we've been in the toxic side of drop everything and listen. It's like, look, if you're in emergency, like, do you need me right now? Is an easy question. I know when people call me during the day, they bat like 99%. They have some time for me. After 11 p.m. are usually much more urgent bits of information that I need to fucking be in now. There is a difference in intensity, but if we can't decipher that from the first, it's, do you need my attention right this second? Like, do I have to clear some time, 10 minutes right now? Just because I'm in the middle of my workday, I want to be there. Like the idea of asking questions to somebody who's asking for help. Because as advocates that have done this work before us, it's just a shotgun blast. Why? Because we're making up for lost time. We need to make a fucking dent. Just everybody listen. And now it's like, okay, now that we're all listening, now we need to learn how to listen. Like
to be present. You're right, because it's all about being present.
Right.
And when people text on the fly or call, we do have. You're right. We can say, "Well, can we take 10 minutes and reconnect? Or can we connect tonight when I can give you the time?"
Because the worst thing,
I could give you the time and not be present.
It needs to be awareness of where we are.
We know, as trauma survivors, we know what that sounds like on the phone. We know what that looks like on someone's face, whether they're even if they're doing their damnedest. And like, please add neurodivergent on top of that, and it's the worst. Like, you can hear it in me when I'm like on the phone, and my brain's like, I have 74 things going right now. If I slow this one down to talk to this person, there was a word there I needed to hear. Sorry, what'd you say? No, hold on. No, okay. I can't do this right now. I'm sorry. I will call you back in 5 minutes. I need to pull over or something. Like, is that? Yeah.
There needs to be boundaries though. Like, we even need to be aware as to where's our energy level and are we depleted or are we full? Because you can't pour from an empty cup. So if we get messages and we know we're depleted, we need to be able to say, okay, you know what? I'm not my best self at the moment, but I could perhaps give you time at this. And being aware as to where we are too with our own journeys, because we have to be giving healthy space. We have to be giving our best yes to other people as well, and not giving them, my kids sometimes call me out on it. Mom, you're giving us your leftovers of the day. And I was like, oh shit, totally. You are getting my leftovers. And are we giving our best yes to ourselves and to other people? And being aware of that is key, because that's when we're really going to be able to hold that space well for somebody else, when we are our optimum self as well.
That's right. I'm super excited about this, and I'm super excited to have you both down in person for an event, which is great, because then we can talk about this. And not only will we be talking about this, we'll have a whole room of people to talk about this with, so that we can start making the changes, right? So that everybody can start saying, yeah, I want to be present for you and I want to have space for you, and they're also creating boundaries for themselves. Like, this topic is so huge, and it's all about relearning, right? And reteaching. And
unlearning.
Unlearning.
Well, so that you think about, like, at the basis of it, it's how do we actually live in community with each other?
That's right.
We've been so isolated, yet, we know on paper, in the ether, in the universe, we are communal creatures, but we are so fucking out of practice that we clumsily do this thing and people wind up getting hurt. And then, we just stumble through, and it actually separates us more, while, we get to come together here in December and have like, nothing I've said is something you guys haven't heard, felt, or experienced already. Yeah. And that's what we do now. Is the point of somebody going, okay, I've been fucking struggling with this for 5 years now. How do I do this thing? It's like, you said the thing. Hey, God, I'm so glad I paid my ticket price, because that's been pissing me off. But that's this conversation. That's why these things are so much fucking fun, because if we think it, because we're spinning our tires as advocates, they're the asphalt out there. They see this stuff. They're like, I don't even know how to help you get your tires going, because I'm I'm just waiting for you to go.
Yeah.
Like it's the wildest shit. Being in community would be easy, you think, but you put however many people in a room and you will feel that fucking tension until we start talking.
Yep. I'm
If
excited.
we're
I
communal
like the tension. I like the tension. I like that people start talking. I like that all these different thoughts come out. I like that people start connecting. And it's not just about mental health. It's about, you're right, it's community. Community is what we need. And then we can recreate and relearn and reteach and all come together to be better, to help each other.
I like what Ethan said though. Ethan, you mentioned something and I think it's important to touch on it because yes, we're advocates, but we don't have all the answers. And there's going to be times when we're going to get it wrong or we're going to hurt somebody. I think we really need to be aware too, that we then humble ourselves and say, hey, sorry, I got that wrong. You know, hey, I didn't mean to hurt you in that moment. And owning where we go wrong, because we like to think we've got all our shit together. No, we don't. None of us are immune to this. We really aren't. And we are going to fuck up. We are going to get it wrong. And we need to be able to say, hey, I did wrong. I hurt you. I'm sorry. Let me do better. How can I fix this? How can I make it right by you?
And that's the thing. That's where that term I think gets misconstrued. Lived experience. It's like you can't physically take away my lived experience. And I am, you know, a quote unquote leading expert in this field. But that doesn't mean that I have it figured out because I lived it. Like, I can tell you what happened. I can tell you how it felt. I can tell you the things that I know you felt in the moment. Doesn't make it right. Like I can make this right now. I don't got a little bit of time. I'm a personal trainer. I just lost 100 pounds over COVID, give or take. And like my entire life, due to my trauma, I have a wild fascination and hatred for people who are obese, even though myself, I was obese, because the person that was supposed to protect me from the abuse for 10 years sat in her fucking room, ate her feelings, and did nothing to help me. I didn't realize that until last year. And I knew I had a problem with being big. Didn't know I was as big as I was, but like that little nugget is wildly incredible. Does it make it right? No. How the fuck am I supposed to be a trainer that preaches mind, body, spirit if I hate people that are obese? And I don't, let's back up, I don't anymore. But it was a trauma response to somebody not protecting me from horrific abuse for 10 years. So it makes sense that I wouldn't be that fond of people that remind me of her. Does that make it right and appropriate? Not at fucking all, because we all also know, on a side caveat, that trauma linked directly to obesity. And I also know for a fact that she went through shit in her childhood. Does that make what happened to me okay? No. So, but it's still a lived experience.
But it's a puzzle. It's a puzzle piece. And this is where we really do have lenses on which how we do life based off of what we're told, learned, experienced, and believed to be true. Doesn't mean it's true, but we need to break them down and dismantle
I'm humbled often.
Yes.
I'm humbled often and being like, you're right. I heard that come out of my mouth. I didn't even like that either. My bad.
But we're not immune. That's what I mean. Nobody is immune to any of this. We are trial beings and we are taking the steps just like everybody else. We just may be a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit ahead of somebody else going through it. That's it.
Yeah. I've never said anything that I haven't learned from somebody else or something else. Like I love learning shit. Please tell me shit that you've gone through so I can learn. And like, that's the thing about community. Nobody here believes I have to step on you to get to where I'm going. If you said something that was like, I knew that piece was missing. Oh God, my story just got better. Thank you. Okay, my turn. And like that, like I get to go talk, and all of a sudden that person that I just learned something from goes, ooh, that was the one. How did you? Oh, it's been 10 years for me. Thank you. Like that's the thing. That's that community, the actual healthy community. I'm never done learning. I'm 31. Oh. Most of the people around me are older than me. You know, I'm coming up as this guy.
Dang. Yep.
You're just a young one.
Because I was taught seniority over actual presence. Yeah. So I'm looking at these people who have stories, and I'm finding out that they're watching what I'm doing. Well, why? Why are you watching me? I've been watching you for 10 because you said something that clicked with me, and I've been at it for a decade. Like that's the thing about this wicked community we get to build. When we do it right, the blocks are there for all of us to keep climbing in our own journeys and yet still come together to do the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Okay. I'm going to stop this because anybody who wants to meet Ethan or Amy or talk or come down, please get a ticket to the mental health events. We would love to have you. We want to grow this conversation. We want to keep learning. And there's so many people to learn from. This community surprises me every single day because I get to learn every single day from inspiring people like Ethan and Amy. The link will be in the comments. Thank you so much, Amy and Ethan, for joining me. We will jump on again next month so that we can talk more and talk about what's going to happen at the event.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Thank you guys so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.